Go Loud presents the Talking Bollox podcast.
What you waiting for? Put your back in it. Just a little more. Throw your weight in it now. Tell your body you're tense. Walk it hard and long. When you finish that,
The hip knocker.
go down, go down, go down. Come up.
Quick shout out to Manscaped for supporting this podcast. Summer is coming, time for you to prioritise the comfort of your crotch.
Manscaped has spent over 2 years designing their new boxer briefs. They're called the Boxers 2.0. The good thing about boxers, Terence, yeah, a nice comfortable pair. They keep all your furniture in the centre of your sitting room, you know what I mean? You don't want that popping out. Any unwanted guests slipping out the sides or anything like that.
Point. Oh,
You need to keep the lads comfortable down there as well.
Yeah, I'm having that. They're not just any boxers either. They're tagless and lie flat against the skin so you don't get the chafing. And there's a fly in it for making going to the jacks quick and efficient.
The Boxers 2.0 come in many different designs, colours and every size, from small all the way up to triple XL. Go to manscaped.com, use the code GOLOUD20 for 20% off and free worldwide shipping. That's GOLOUD20 at manscaped.com.
Once the Boxers 2.0 touch a sack, you'll never go back.
Episode 97 of the Talking Bollocks podcast, brought to you by Go Loud. It's me, COB,
It's me, Terry Flower.
and today we're joined by...
Neil Delamere.
You nearly missed the cue then.
Well, I didn't know there was going to be a queue. I was concentrating on your name.
Terry Flower.
Harry Flower, wow.
Yeah, that's my name. Yeah, well, it's Terence Power, but people, where does Terry Flower come from?
I remember I asked you that before, and you were like, Terence Power, Terry Flower, and I was like, alright, that makes no sense, but I'll leave him with it.
Yeah, I don't know where it came from. Yeah,
That would be one of the first questions I would ask people, why they called me that name, but you just went with it.
I just went with it. This is going on since junior infants.
Do you know what's mad? We never actually used to do that intro thing. And it just kind of happened.
Did we not?
Gradually. Yeah, if you go back and listen to the early episodes, we actually used to proper introduce ourselves. PPS numbers and all, more than...
Yeah, it's a PPS number of a dead man from
everything.
5 years ago.
Proper introduce everything, and then it just kind
Did
of
we?
gradually morphed into that. Yeah, I swear to God.
That's because
When?
people know
Don't
you.
know.
That's because people know you who listen to it. So
Yeah.
you don't have to introduce yourselves anymore. At some point you'll be TF, then you'll just be T, then you won't say anything at all. You just stare down the camera.
Yeah.
The lustful look in your eye.
People don't know what they're here for.
Yeah. I'm baffled. What did we used to say? So, like, genuinely, what
I'm
did
Calvin, and you're like, and I'm Terence, and this episode 2, Talking Bollocks. Mad echo because we're in the kitchen.
That's bleeding childish. Neil, what's the story? How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm all good, pal. Yeah. How's things?
Very good. You rescued me from reading notes about the Northern Ireland Stormont Assembly. That's what I was doing
Fuck
before I
Stormont
came
anyways,
here.
yeah?
I was, because I'm doing we do a show on a Thursday up north for the BBC. So I was literally reading about Sinn Féin and the DUP, and then had to hop my bicycle to come in and chat to you boys.
Yeah, so that's something I actually want to have a chat with you about, Neil.
Oh yeah.
So I come in downstairs and the security guard says, tell Neil his bike's going to be gone, have a play, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, what? Neil Delamere cycled in on a push bike.
I did, yeah.
On a push bike, and it's a whopper.
Is
Is that a nice bike?
Yeah, it's a little nice yoke.
Yeah.
A few suitors for that now when we get downstairs. I'd say.
It'll already be gone. It'll be
100%, that's
constituent
sold and all.
parts
Yeah,
downstairs.
That's gone, that is. Yeah,
No, I
Boys
just
have
thought,
that sold.
I just thought I'd cycle in. I didn't know. I haven't been in town in ages, and every time I drive in now, there's a new road I can't drive down. There's a new place I can't park, so I thought I'd cycle
Yeah,
in.
but you're on a push bike, you can go anywhere.
I have a nice bike, and I have one cycling jersey. And
Cycling, yeah.
I have one cycling jersey. I've never worn it. I don't.
You're
I
not
don't
one of these people that goes around cycling
No,
on
no.
Sundays with the glasses.
No,
and
no,
all
no,
that.
no, no, no.
Like, you're going up the road, like, you know what I mean?
No, I do not have the physique, physical capacity, or indeed lung capacity to wear that. But Nicholas Roach gave it to me. So the only cycling jersey I have was given to me by a fella who cycled in the Olympics for Ireland.
So you have to...
Yeah. So
Okay.
I have... no, we did Dance with the Stars together. And he's great. He's a lovely, lovely man. He was the eye candy on the show as well. And
Doesn't say much for the rest of the show, though, does it?
well, it's just between me and him. So
Yeah.
no, he's a good-looking dude. Actually, he is a good-looking dude. He's built like a wall for a cyclist as well. So he kindly gave me that.
Well, there you are. I don't...
You didn't expect that, snap, did you?
I was like, where is this going?
See the people who go out cycling and all, they go out cycling for an hour and they wear the bleeding vests and the glucose packs and all. You're like, mate,
Yeah.
how much energy do you think you're going to be burning out? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, defo, yeah. So, we're back. We missed a week last week.
We haven't done a podcast in about a month, Terence, tell the truth.
No, that is the truth, yeah. Owen Brennan, our main producer, left us and we just fell apart.
Yeah,
That's
so-
basically what happened.
I thought you were the driving force behind this. I thought
No,
you were
we,
just.
we're
we like to think
useless.
we are, but like
Yeah.
we just show up. Like we're basically we're just the guinea pigs here. We just run on the wheel.
You're
the
two,
last- you know
two
what I
sea
mean?
lions, and he's throwing the ball, and without that,
Basically.
you're just swimming it on your own.
Literally.
Yeah,
like,
he
that's
went,
exactly
he went
how
out
it
on
is.
live for a while, and I think we done one episode.
I'm surprised that just Willie White didn't just turn up and chat to you randomly. He's
That would have made
all
sense.
of us
So-
on the show.
That actually nearly happened because a few things went wrong, right? Terence ended up in hospital. That's another day's story. And Willa actually texts me and says, look, if you want me to come in on Monday, I can replace Terence.
Yeah.
And I was like,
No, we can't.
well, that's what he was willing to do. And I was like, I appreciate the offer, Willa, but I'd never go in without him.
Yeah.
And then what else happened? I went away.
That's cute. isn't
That's
it?
lovely.
Yeah, I went away. I went on holiday for a week.
Where'd you
Yeah,
go?
yeah. I went to Malta, yeah. Went for 1 week, got sick for 3 days.
No way.
Fuming I was.
No, tell what happened though.
So we rock up. It was me, me board, and me board's mad. That's the three of us. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very exciting. that, isn't it?
Well, that's okay. Yeah.
So, anyways, we rock up.
I've accidentally clicked on that video, but anyway.
Fuck's sake. So we went up checking in, and they were like, yeah, blah, 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 there's the name. So they were like, yeah, so the couple, so we had the double room and single room, obviously. So the double room was all inclusive. I was like, yeah. Which it wasn't. I was just like, yeah. And I'm asked there, no, we didn't book that. I was like, fucking did, shut your fucking mouth. So we got all inclusive for free. I was like, happy days. Got there on the Wednesday, woke up Friday in bits. My board was like, I don't feel well. Spent all night Friday getting sick, all day Saturday getting sick, and then Sunday in bed dying.
Was it COVID?
No, it was
No,
like
It was
viral-
the all-inclusive holiday that shouldn't have been all-inclusive.
Yeah.
So Karma literally just went.
It was karma. Karma.
There you
He had a dose of karma.
You went to town.
It was the first time I got sick, like vomited, since I was about 17, I'd say.
The sickest I've ever been was on holiday. Well, on holiday. I did gigs years ago in Thailand with, do you know Rod Gilbert and
No.
Greg Davis? You know Greg Davis, who does Nevermind the Buzzcocks now, and Taskmaster and Channel 4 and all those shows.
Rod Gilbert, the Welsh fella.
Welsh guy, yeah.
That's Willa's favourite comedian.
Yeah,
Is it?
yeah. Oh, he's one of the best comedians I ever see. Yeah, and we did these gigs in Hong Kong and Manila and Thailand. And when we were in Manila, there was a terrorist group that was had launched some sort of attack on some island. But when we got there, we're checking in, and we're only there for one night. There were the Moro Islamic Liberation Front. So behind us, it said MILF plans attack on something, on some newspaper. We were like, wow, we are not in Kansas anymore, are we?
I think I clicked on that video.
But you clicked on that video. And I got so sick in Thailand because loads of people just get sick. You get some sort of bug. I've never been, oh my God. Everything came out of both sides, and like food I'd eaten as a child and marbles and like stickers of Ray Houghton from the 1990 World Cup. And I was asking somebody recently, have you ever gotten so sick that you're trying to bargain with your own anus? Have you ever been like, just please, I'll do anything. Just stop.
I swear to God, the last time I was violently sick, now I didn't vomit,
Yeah.
but was in Thailand as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Probably the same hotel I was
We
in.
were in can't remember. See, anytime someone says like, "Oh, what part of Thailand you go to?" I would just say everywhere, because like every 3 days we're moving to a new spot.
Somewhere else.
And we were in this big mad fancy place. One of the best hotels I've ever been in. And the fella who worked there says, "Look, if you ever need a lift anywhere, let me know.
Yeah.
And I'll drive you there for like a fee." And I was like, "Yes, sound." So we come in on his day off, and we gave him a few quid. And supposedly what we gave him for that one day was a week's wages. And I mean, I think it worked out at like €15. But he drove us to this spot to do magic mushrooms, right? So we are up on this mountain in this nightclub with a pool, and everyone sits on the floor. There's no seats. And I was like, this is class. So you go up, and the mushrooms are in a smoothie. So we had mushroom smoothies. I was chilling there, whatever, and that was grand. Had a great buzz. Next day I woke up, and I swear to God I couldn't lift my head off the pillow, and I didn't know what end I was going to come out of. And we had to get a ferry. So I remember going to me board, and I was like, look, give me wherever you have. She had this little like travel bag full of like painkillers and all this shit. I was like, give me whatever you have that completely shuts off me body till we get on that ferry, and then I'll be alright. And I remember saying to myself, please, just put the stopper in, turn off all the taps, just wait till we get off this boat. Because you know the toilets in some of the places in Thailand, it's just a hole in the ground.
I'd love to know what she gave you, like on the contraceptive pill.
I was on everything.
He's
I
on
think I got the barn in my hand and all I did. I was on everything. But because I went into the toilet
Went for a
then.
smear test afterwards.
Yeah.
We did way too much.
I went into the toilet in there because I had to have a hit and miss, and it was just a hole in the floor. So I was thinking, like, imagine having to squat over that for hours, like, you know what I mean? And then I spent the rest of the holiday, I didn't eat anything. Like, we were going out to the like blatant great restaurants. Me mates were ordering the best of Thai curries, steaks, everything. I was like, yeah, I'll have a water place. So I'm sitting there, just bottles of water. Came back in great nick though.
Yeah, you do, yeah, rip off.
Shredded after, yeah.
What's the sickest you've ever been?
I don't think I have any cold stories like them, boys. They're lethal, you know what I mean? You was going to Thailand and ending up in a heat, boys. I'm getting sick in the flats and all. Not that impressive, you know what I mean?
No.
But
You don't feel at the time when you're emptying yourself, this is going to be a great story.
This is content.
yeah. I've
Content.
never thought about that, you know what I mean? But they are impressive anyway. So that's the reason why we didn't have a podcast out last week. But we're back anyways.
What would happen if Willie came in and he was better at this than you then? What if
That's
what
a fear
if
we have.
What
Yeah.
if we struck up just a conversation and a kind of a deep bond with you and that you didn't have? What would you do?
I reckon will be better than us at doing a podcast.
100%. I don't know why he doesn't, but I don't want to question it because then if he put the idea in his head and
Has
he's
he
like, I'm
told-
actually going to be doing a podcast.
Has he told you about the
No.
gig we did in Mountjoy?
Come on, fill us in.
So Will asked me one day, because would you want to do a gig in Mountjoy? And I was like, oh, grand, okay. So myself and a couple of other comedians went in, and Will is just because I know Willa from just gigging round, and you kind of forget that he had been in Mountjoy, obviously, and he was talking about that. And so we're waiting backstage in the kitchen before we go on, and some guy comes in, like, all right, Willa, doing a bit of cooking, is it? And Willa goes, the only cooking I did in here was on a fucking spilling.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
And your man laughs and Willa laughs, and we're sitting there going, what is going on? And then we go out and Willa gets on, and Willa's emceeing the gig, and he gets on stage and immediately is heckled by his former cellmate. Immediately. And Willa goes, what was the line? He goes, that's your problem. You always had a massive mouth. I'd say the guards didn't even have to give you the biscuits before you were going blah, 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 blah. And the place went absolutely mental. It was a brilliant gig.
How many years ago was that?
Oh, 15, I'd say, yeah.
Fucking
yeah. And then first act goes on, and I was saying to Will, I says, I've never been in a gig like this before. I'm just asking, what way do you do this? And I says, well, I slag off the prison guards and slag off. And he goes, yeah, you'll be grand, right? Next guy goes on, and the front couple of rows are empty, and he's doing his stuff, and he says, yeah, where are the chairs empty? And a guy is reading a copy of The Sun or The Star or something like this, and he just looks up and goes, oh, they're for the riot. And he just puts his head back down like this. And your man goes, what? And he was taking a piss. But we were fish out of water. So he was like, oh. And then I said to Willie, it's just a bit of aggression here. And he goes, yeah. So I get up, and the same guy heckles me, who had been in prison with Willie. And I just went, Jesus, you've nearly as big a mouth as your sister.
Oh, good luck.
Massive reaction. And he's like, way! And I look at Willie and give him the nod, and that's it. But Willie had told me what to do, you know.
Yeah.
But it was a mad gig, and it was a lovely gig actually, you know.
Yeah. We were up in the joy.
Yeah.
We weren't doing fucking comedy though, you know what I
I'm
mean?
still getting heckled.
Yeah, we were as well.
What were you doing?
We just went up for a chat with the
We
prisoners.
went up through the park run.
Yeah,
And then having a chat with the lads after it. But we're sitting there having a chat with them, and they're just throwing abuse at you and a bit of stick.
Yeah.
You have to give it back, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it was a good buzz with them because they listened to the podcast in there, you know what I mean? They put it
Really?
on for them and all. So they
Put the podcast on
Oh,
every
this guest
Sunday.
was great, and what guest is coming up next? We were giving them little bits of info and all, you know what I mean? Having
Yeah.
a buzz with them, but that was good crack.
Yeah.
Put the podcast on every Sunday up there on the telly. But if you don't like it, tough. You can either watch this or you watch The Wall.
Yeah.
Shout out to all the boys again. This is what I want to ask you, Neil.
Yeah.
Do all you Irish comedians know each other? Do you just become an Irish comedian, then get added into a WhatsApp group or something? Or what way does it work?
It's just a small place, really, and we're all gigging around doing the same festivals and stuff like this. And even if you kind of did, say the panel, or if you did kind of nick a camera like PJ Gallagher or Maeve Higgins, we're still in the international trying out stuff for a tour and show. So we all know each other, and we all bumped into each other, and if you didn't meet someone here, you'd meet them in England if they were doing the club circuit there. So I think nearly everybody knows it, nearly everybody else.
Yeah.
I was talking about Dylan Moore the other day, and Dylan Moore is probably the only one I haven't met really and don't know him, because I suppose he's based in the UK. But all the rest of us just know each other, and it's a relatively supportive atmosphere anyway, you know.
Yeah, because Will rang me yesterday and he was like, yeah, over here with that person and that person.
Yeah, he's a very sociable man as well. He's a very nice, kind of straightforward, non-tears of a clown sort of a comedian. You know, there were some comics are a bit. When you meet them, they're not what you expect them to be. They might be shyer than you expect them to be. For example, what you get with Will is, you know, what you see is what you get. So he's a very sociable person, so he knows everybody. You know.
Yeah.
So he would know everybody. Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought you always automatically knew each other because that's how you got on. Hey, he put you in touch with us.
Yeah.
I mean, and then as well when we had Ardal on, he put Ardal in touch with us as well. So it's just fucking. Will Atwood's basically running this podcast, and this is another reason why he said he couldn't be on every week because we had him on a few weeks ago, and everyone was like, "Have him back on next week. Have him back on for 100 episode." And Jeez, he's the most in-demand person.
He's got brilliant stories. You know? And he's just a kind of a natural storyteller with not a standard experience, I suppose. You know, and he also has the skill to tell them because he's done stand-up. You know,
he's told us some stories that he'd never be able to tell on the podcast. And like he'd say it to me separately, and I'd be like, "Well, I'll tell him a story about that time at the restaurant," and he'd be like, "Oh yeah, boom," and he'd tell you the exact story word for word with the exact same people in order. That's how you know he's not lying. He's just recounting what happened, and like you'd be like, "This is madness."
I'm interested to hear the story that he can't tell you, given you just told him a story about being in Thailand, taking magic mushrooms, and then shitting yourself inside out. I'd love to know the story that he cannot tell.
Yeah. It's
no, don't tell me
because
it's illegal in every sense, libelous, slanderous, or you could be killed.
It's more so the people in the stories, and you'd be like, "How did you even meet that person?"
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
He said he was in London the weekend. He met David Hay.
Yeah, he met David Hay over there. He was having dinner with John Bishop and Jason Bourne and all.
Driving Pierce O'Leary around.
Yeah, I was like, what is going on there? Will I just knows everybody though.
Yeah.
And the fact he bumped into David Hay, he rang me today and I was chatting to him about it. I was like, I'm not even surprised by that.
Yeah.
Because he always telling you, I met this person, I know this person. I'm like, who the fuck don't you know?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
John Bishop, his first ever telly was with us on, I think it was the panel. It was his first ever TV, yeah.
John Bishop's not around about 100 years.
No, he's around about 15 years. I think it was either the Blame Game, the show we do in the North, or the panel, one of the two. And he did TV in Ireland, oddly enough, long before he did TV in the UK. And it just took off for him. And he's just like a superstar now. So Willie would know him from them.
Yes,
Willie would know, like Willie started to 2005 on the Des Bishop show, so he's been around a long time, and that's how he knows Rod and Jason and all those lads, you know.
Yeah, come here. So Neil, before we came on here, you told me. So you do your own podcast.
Yeah.
With a mad strategy to it.
Yeah, it's kind of the opposite in this. Well, there's two lads having the crack, but it's a bit more structured. What I love about this is it is exactly what it says in the tin. This is talking bollocks, but you're clever enough to bring it wherever. Me and Dave Moore, who I'm very, very fond of, who does Dermot and Dave, people will know him. Works in this building and wins every award, go himself and Dermot. Every time I do his show, he has this thing on it called Dave's World, and he just kind of tells facts, and everybody else rolls their eyes at him. Anytime I've come on to talk about my own kind of touring shows, we get into these, that's very interesting, but did you know this? And then did you know this? And did you know, we should become these weird geeky lads, right? So he said, let's do a podcast about this. We originally wrote a sitcom. I really wanted to work with Dave. Like, Dave is a really clever, really bright, really well-rounded man who, like, he speaks Russian, speaks Czech, speaks Polish, speaks French, plays guitar, you know, and so I said, let's do something. So we wrote a sitcom once. We wrote a thing called Pumped, and we got a few quid for a script and never went anywhere. And I said, let's do something else. And then we said, let's do this kind of podcast. So basically, one of us comes in and goes and gets an expert. And the expert is in the second half, and they tell us something amazing. And in the first half, we talk about stuff around that subject, essentially. So, like, we've had... last week, we had a guy talking about... He was an expert in the elements, the periodic table elements, right? So he's talking about there's a radioactive beach in Edinburgh. It's radioactive. And the reason it's radioactive is because they dumped loads of planes after the Second World War, and the luminous dials on the planes started breaking up, and they broke down and got washed up onto the beach and made the beach radioactive. And then he starts telling us about other weird element stories. And he talked to us about antimony. We said, don't know what that is. And he goes, right, it's a poison. Right? And it was so expensive that people would take this poison, and it was a laxative. So it would go straight through you. But because it was so expensive, you would pick up the pill and you would clean off the pill and you would keep it in case you needed it again. And you would also pass it on to your son and your grandson, and it would pass through the family line for years because it was so expensive. And we were like, oh, God, that's the weirdest episode of the Antiques Roadshow I've ever seen.
That sounds like, you know, in Pulp Fiction with the watch. See this watch? Your grandfather had it up his ass.
yeah.
And he gives it to him.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
So we have this weird stuff like this. We talked this week. It's just out this week. We talked to a geographer guy. He talked about the wall chart that was on your wall in school. That's basically wrong. And he came on and explained why that was wrong. So, like in the 1560s, I could see you're staring at me now. Go, what is
I'm
going on
baffled
now?
by that. How could it be wrong?
So basically, in the 1560s, a guy came up with the idea. So the issue is you have to put a 3D globe, a round globe, onto a 2D surface, onto a map. And if you ever do that, something gets distorted, right? And this guy came up with this idea, and he designed this thing. Who's called Mercator. And in 1569, you're talking 500 years ago almost, he figured this out so that you could stay on the same compass bearing, right? And he figured out this map. And that's the map you see in school on your wall chart. But what happens is that stretches countries that are furthest away from the equator. So if you look at that map, Greenland is massive.
Yeah.
Greenland is actually, it looks like it's the same size as Africa. It's not. It's about like 14 times bigger. Africa's 14 times bigger than Greenland. And this guy came up with this because it's brilliant for navigation, but it's wrong in other ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not triggered by this because I seen a fact the other day and I don't know if it's a wind up or not, but supposedly, you know, the World Cup in Qatar,
Yeah.
if you take like the distance between all the stadiums, you could fit them all in Wexford.
In Wexford.
That's how small of an area it's going to be in.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, yeah. I mean, the people at Wexford would be annoyed, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Why would they do it all in such a confined space?
Why would they
Well,
do the
Qatar
World
is
Cup in Qatar
in the
general?
first place?
Yeah. Qatar isn't massive anyway.
Is it not?
No.
But surely you could do it in a bigger vicinity than just Wexford. Of
It's
Qatar.
just in terms of scale, they measured
Yeah.
it up like between like this one and that one's only X amount of miles. You could fit all that in Wexford. So that's
Yeah,
does
but
that the
still-
trigger?
We would love that
perception?
sort of stuff.
Yeah.
That's the sort of mad stuff.
That's when you said it to me. I was like, I'd love that. You always say about me, I know random shit about random
Yeah,
stuff.
but
stuff like-
stupid stuff, you know.
Oh, no,
That's a
we
good
no
one,
no
the
we
Wexford thing in Qatar.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. But like,
we love stupid stuff. The first episode we did was about this woman, and she came along and she free diving. You know, diving with no oxygen, right?
Yeah,
No air.
no equipment,
So we
yeah.
talked about this. This woman she was a geneticist. She became really interested in these people who live. They're sea nomads. Basically, they don't live in villages on land. Really, they spend most of the time in the sea and they free dive and they're amazing. And she went, I wonder, are they genetically any different? And she scanned them and their spleens are bigger.
What's that playing for?
When you dive, this is really weird, right? We did this once years ago with PJ Gallagher on a TV show and Evie Nihuluan. Do you remember she rose at Tralee and she's now the maths educator? Do you know Evie Nihuluan? And we if you put someone's face in water, if I put your face in cold water, right, your heart rate slows.
Yeah.
Your blood vessels constrict and your spleen contract. It's called the mammalian dive reflex.
where is
Right?
it going?
This is talking bollocks. We're allowed to talk about whatever we want.
No, yeah, right.
And so your spleen contracts and fires red blood cells into your body and that they carry oxygen. So one of the things that allows you to stay underwater is your spleen contracts and fires out red blood cells into your bloodstream.
That's little. See, that's a good little one to know.
But see, that was she.
What have I told you that's worse?
No, I can't think.
This
off
is
the
the
top of my
point, though.
head.
This is what should happen. Dave should go, that's a load of bollocks. Is that real? And he does. Or, oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah.
But in that, so that she was the second half and she explained all this sort of stuff. But then in the first half, we go and find facts that's related to that. So I was asking him then, what's the world record for holding your breath, do you think? Have you just inhaled just to see if you can do it?
Yeah. No.
Go on. World record.
So obviously you know this, yeah?
I do know this, yeah.
I'm going to say, like, for holding your breath, so when
Yeah.
I'm holding my breath underwater,
Yeah.
I'm going to say...
Elite athlete that you are. Yes.
Yeah, I could probably hold my breath for about 2 minutes, I'd say, 3
Okay.
minutes.
What do you think?
I don't think you could, but I think the record is 7 minutes.
I'm going to go
Okay.
with...
I want to see you hold your breath for 2 minutes underwater as well, by the way. We're going to
Yeah.
do that someday.
No,
But it
I-
has to be the canal.
I don't think I have... Yeah.
I can't be
Yeah,
like
we're
a
next
poo.
to
Get
it.
stuck
We
in
need
a
to put you
Tesco trolley under there.
in your natural habitat in the canal, way down.
I'm going to guess 9 minutes.
24 minutes.
That's not real. Don't give a bollocks. Neil, I don't give a bollocks.
That's
Nobody
exactly
goes
what they
underwater for 24 minutes and come back up.
What size are the lungs like a bleeding black bag in a bin or something?
24 minutes, really?
Yeah, now there is a little.
Yeah, so there's a catch 22.
There is a catch, right? It's
Yeah.
longer than an episode of The Simpsons. Imagine that. If you didn't like The Simpsons, you could just
So
go
is
up.
that the
another bit.
catch?
No, the catch is he was allowed breathe pure oxygen before for a few minutes, but he did genuinely hold his breath underwater.
So that means he
for
has
24 minutes.
carbon dioxide in his body and you don't need to exhale as much.
You didn't need to know
Yeah.
that. That's lethal.
That's
Yeah.
science,
But
bro.
then
Not
we,
fact.
but then
Well,
we
there's
got
a
there.
fact, sorry.
This isn't a fact.
No, I don't mean like, those Uber facts. You get
Yeah,
one
yeah.
sentence of information
Yeah.
and you just tell that to everyone in the pub.
Yeah,
or something.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's me.
This makes sense. Like,
Yeah,
what I'm trying to
but
say.
then we figured out that Dave has a world record.
Fuck
He
off,
holds
man.
and I was like, is it some shite world record? And he goes, well, yeah, it's for blowing a Malteser in one breath across a floor with a straw. And he's genuinely in the World Book of Records. He did it in Stephen's Green Shopping Centre once.
And he's in the Guinness
Yeah,
World
like
Book
it's
of
20
Records.
feet or something like that, yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
That is impressive.
So we kind of go off and wander around about mad shit like this, and then we got like a listener got involved and we went, you know, the idea for the Guinness Book of Records happened in Wexford, and I was like, no, it didn't. And then we looked it up, and that happened.
Why does everything happen in fucking Wexford?
telling you.
But
So some guy, the guy who was the chairman of Guinness, right?
Yeah.
I think his name was Hugh Beaver. Don't laugh at the back, but that was his name. And he was out shooting, and they had a row. This was in the 50s and 60s, 50s, I think. And they had a row over what's the fastest game bird, right? And they realised that there'd no book to look this up, no Google, there'd no book to look this up. And he went, you know what we'll do? We'll get these two lads to look up and make sure they can figure out what are the world records. And it was meant to be this kind of promotion for Guinness. And then they went, we can sell this.
Is it actual Guinness?
Yeah, this was Guinness, yeah. And that's how we come up with the.
So,
Yeah,
see
the-
the way, back to this fella who went underwater for 24
Yeah,
minutes, yeah?
yeah.
See the way he got that pure oxygen?
Yeah.
I'd love to know what the record is without that. Just a normal bloke getting into water, because that's kind of cheating. No?
Oh, it's 9 or 10 minutes.
Like Lance Armstrong. What?
Yeah.
Isn't it? Bro, he's cheating, bro, 100%. Well,
EPO fella.
Yeah, 9 or 10
Like
minutes.
TJ Dillashaw on Joe Rogan telling everybody he has the best cardio in the UFC and then 6 weeks later fails a drug test.
Yeah.
That's like getting a third lung. He's usually
Yeah,
on an
he's-
X-ray.
They're like, I
Literally.
just have tremendous cardio and they're like, yeah, you're doped up to the gills, you tick you.
Yeah. So, Neil, we do a thing called zingers.
Yep.
Have you ever listened to an episode?
I have listened to the Ardla Hanlon episode and I've heard Will's episodes, yeah.
Right, so we do a thing. Have you got a zinger?
Well, give me a zinger first and remind me what it is. And then
just
see
So
if I
zinger,
can understand
like,
it.
or
we'll give you
would
the
you
easy
wear
ones,
that,
like
okay.
king or tato or
Yeah.
fucking, you
What
know,
do you call
stupid.
this thing here? And you'd be like, oh, that's
You did the one about didn't you do the one about whether you put the wrappers of sweets back into
Yeah,
the
we did do that.
Yeah.
Do you?
Oh no, I think you should be killed if someone does it.
Yeah, will I come up with a great idea and just put them all in your pocket?
That is a great idea.
Cat or dog?
Cat or dog? Dog. Don't let Willa hear you saying that.
What?
Well,
Oh, that'll be murder. He doesn't like cats.
Oh, I'll dog all day.
Yeah.
All
yeah,
day.
yeah. I don't. That'd be like 95% dog, I reckon.
Yeah, I know,
Every
bro. I
dog.
have a dog and I can't stand the bastard.
You can't stand your dog.
Oh, I fucking can't.
He
He's
says
Why?
he's
What's
a
wrong
demo
with your
man.
dog?
When you're in the
just
gaff,
moaning
baby
all
and
the
him.
fucking time. Like
What sort of dog is he?
a beagle.
Okay, how much do you walk him?
Oh, about 2 hours a day.
Jesus.
Twice a day.
They're
I'm talking.
Anytime I'm ring Calvin, he's walking the dog. 4 o'clock in the
And
morning.
I live in
12
apartments as
o'clock.
well, so like if I have to go downstairs to put the bins down, I bring the dog
Yeah,
with me,
yeah.
and I make him come back up the stairs to tire him out, and I'd be bollocks coming up the stairs after him. Then,
Yeah.
I don't think I'd be like tire him out, make him go up the stairs. Then I'd be like, you have to go up the stairs with him, you tick. And so I'd be bollocks when I get to the top, and he'd just be running around. Then, so he just moans all the time.
Oh, really?
All the
What's he
time.
called?
Bruno.
That's a great name for a dog.
Yeah, I named him after Bruno Fernandes. Plays for United.
Oh, the Portuguese dude?
Yeah.
Who doesn't play well when Cristiano's playing?
Because he
Yeah,
always
well,
has to give the ball to Ronaldo, which I
Yeah.
don't get. Me head just be wrecked. There's bleeding 9 other players you can pass the ball to.
I've got a 3-legged dog.
Do you?
Yeah, called Lola. And it's this is true. This is true.
Oh,
There's
dude,
no
sorry, I
joke
was waiting
there.
on a
No,
joke.
no,
I was
there's
like,
no
he's
joke.
a comedian.
No
I'm waiting.
joke. And every time I bring her to this park, and we brought her to this kind of dog park, and then somebody goes, "It's a dog socialization area." I was like, "Oh, is it? It's a dog socialization area." I was
So
like,
it's a
"Oh."
dog park, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a dog park, and some of the people up there, they have to let you know how much they know about dogs. Like you
Yeah.
hear them going,
Yeah.
"Have you met that? You know those people?"
I go to a dog park and I just think it's great because it's a like a boxed off area where you can let your dog off the lead and run amok for
and hang around with other dogs.
half an hour, and then when you come back out, they're always bollocks and it's time to leave, and you're like handy. You don't have to chase the dog, you don't have to do one.
Absolutely.
And every time I go up, there's always a different beagle expert. You do this, you don't do that, and you say, all right, sound, and you go back up the next day, and someone will tell you opposite, and I'm just like, I'm not even listening to anybody anymore.
They're always there like, I love your dog, absolutely love your dog. It's a Belgian Shepherd, isn't it? I bet a lot of people say it's a German Shepherd, but I know it's a Belgian Shepherd.
Yeah,
so
passport.
would I go up? Yeah, I heard a bark earlier on, and it didn't go rough, so I know it's not German Shepherd. I could tell the accent. So when I go up, I pretend to know nothing about dogs. Like I pretend to know that I don't know that my dog should have 4 legs.
Yeah,
and it drives them like they're like, "What's wrong with your dog?" And you're like, "What are you talking about?" What's wrong with your dog? Where's her leg? What are you talking about? She should have 4 legs. Yeah, I got a spider dog. What are you talking about? 4 legs. Go on with that. She should have 4. No, she's a hatchback. She's an entry level dog. I'll save up enough tokens. I'll get another dog, another leg. It'd be grand. We get one in the post. But it's a great. Most people are lovely, but sometimes
a hatchback.
And then she because she has one leg at the front. Obviously, she has to kind of crouch to pee. So she's peeing, and then somebody once said to me, "Clean up after your dog." And I said, "But she's only had a pee. She hasn't had a poo. She's only had a pee."
Yeah.
And she goes, "Well, no, she defecated." And I said, "She didn't. Do you want to come out here and have a look around? If you can find the shites, I'll pick up the shites." And then she was like, "Oh, there's one there." And I was like, "Yeah, but that's white, and that is fossilized.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way that just came out of her, you know."
Yeah. Calvin, have you got a zinger?
Oh yeah, I got sent one there earlier. Yeah, so see, I think this is going to be very one-sided because one in my head completely outweighs the other. But would you rather be sitting beside somebody who has the clicker on their phone, so you know the text, and it's like,
oh yeah,
You know, I enjoy that sound.
sit beside a loud chewer?
I know what you're saying. It's going to be one-sided because so many people don't like loud chewers.
yeah.
This is another reason why I hate the dog.
He's a beagle. I mean,
I was out the other night. So I come in late and the dog is there, and the missus was away, so I let the dog sleep in the bedroom with me. So he's asleep and I'm lying there and he's bleeding. I don't know what he's saying, we're all together. And I was like, will you fucking stop for 5 minutes? And he's looking at me. And then just goes back to licking himself, and I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. I was like, it's about fucking 5 in the morning. Can you not just go to sleep for a few minutes?
I love that though. You know, you could easily just put him out of the room and let him do whatever he wants.
Yeah, but then he'd be moaning to come back into me because there's no one else in the gaff, only me.
Oh, he has to be with somebody at all times.
Not like that, but
Okay.
it's like because I'm at the being out and he was on his own.
Oh,
When
right,
I come
okay,
back
yeah,
in,
yeah,
then he's
okay.
like, he needs to be with me, and I'm just like, oh, just stop. They're so needy.
See, what's the person eating? Like, is so if you're sitting beside somebody, are we on a plane here? Are we on a?
Details
Are we?
here.
Yeah, I mean, I need to know this. Are we on a bus or are we on a plane? Where are we?
You're not in a restaurant. So
Not in a
sitting
restaurant.
beside someone.
Okay,
in
so
any other
that would
setting.
suggest that in a kind of confined space.
Yeah, say a bus.
Right, say a
Plane.
bus.
Or in a cell in the joy.
Okay, yeah, but we have to see what they're eating.
Like Crips.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you see, that'll be over in 2 minutes, where someone could text for hours. So you get to click for
that's
ages.
big
Whereas if
brain.
it's just crisps, that's going to be gone in 5 minutes.
You're on a 15-minute bus journey.
Right.
Someone's eating a sandwich.
Is it the 77A? Is it 20B? Which I need to know.
It's a 27B. You're going
27B.
from town to Harristown.
Okay, right. Okay. 15 minutes. And they're going to be chewing or tap, 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 tap.
Yeah, so what are you picking?
Does the tap sound annoy you still, by the way?
Not really, no.
No, I don't really mind it.
But I mind it because it'd be like, and then he sound that goes whoop.
We sent an email. Whoosh. I think I'd pick the tap, 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 tap sound.
I'd pick that all day.
Yeah.
I don't even mind either, but
No.
I definitely pick the tap.
Do you know-
Bro, loud eaters. I hate it.
Do you know, I don't know why I think it is a sound effects story. I once went to a very posh restaurant. Somebody gave me a present of you know that guy, Heston Blumenthal. He was the guy, one of the first guys who used to cook with blowtorches and all this mad stuff, right? Years ago, I went to his restaurant, and one of the things he did was he brought out this dish to get for a seafood dish, and you had to put on, there's an iPod at the time, and you had earphones, and you would eat the thing while it played you sounds of the sea. I was like,
They're people with too much money.
Yeah,
That
that sounds enjoyable. Like that sounds lethal.
yeah.
So what are you going to do? Have a steak and you're going to listen to the bleeding sounds of cows in a field?
Well, yeah. Well, when your mom ever gave you a burger, she didn't give you a burger, and then just stand behind you, go. That would be. But he reckoned they kind of enhanced the taste of it. He used to do all that sort of mad stuff.
Yeah, I have a good. It's not really a zinger, but it's a good question.
What would you pick
Okay.
about the sound, so?
Yeah,
We're all going to same sound. Yeah, we're all going tap, tap, tap.
Yeah.
See, the chewing sound, though, I heard somewhere that it's an actual thing, like it's a phobia or something like that.
Yeah,
But
it's
see,
like
me dad, you can't eat around my dad. My dad's the only fella I know that can crunch a banana. He's eating a banana and you hear him crunching on. And I was like, you're eating a banana. It's the softest thing out there. How the fuck is it crunching? Like, do you know what I mean? I can't eat food around them. So if I'm ever eating dinner at my man's, we'll do a half an hour either side. So dinner is at 5. He can have his at 4:30 or 5:30 because I'm not sitting beside him eating it. Fuck that.
You have staggered food times with your dad.
Yeah, you can't, because how am I supposed to eat when he's there in front of me?
This is like some
know
sort
what
of
I mean?
prison story. That's what this is. You can't have the Mexicans in with the Puerto Ricans.
Yeah,
That's what this is.
So, so if you could go back to any moment in time,
Right?
what would you go back to? Like any moment, like
Before he asked me the zinger,
yeah, valid point.
any moment in time in history ever.
history.
Do you do anything, or are you just kind of watching
No,
it?
you can go back and see what happened. So, like, you could go back like to the pyramids, to the
Yeah.
start of time,
Yeah.
fucking
No, I don't think I go back to
the
the
troubles,
Big Bang.
whatever you want to go back to. Like, you can go back to anything. Like troubles, I don't
The
know.
pyramids, the troubles, Cairo, West Belfast.
Yeah, like you can go anywhere. Like you can do whatever the fuck.
They
you
were the first two things that came to your head. The
I don't
pyramid
know why. Yeah,
or the troubles. Okay.
I like. Do you watch
Chucky
football?
Arlo or Tutankhamun.
Basically, yeah.
Okay. Do I watch football? Yeah.
Do you follow a team?
I follow Liverpool, yeah.
Yeah, right. So you go back to like Istanbul 2005. Do you
Or
get
you go back to last season when he's were decent.
Yeah.
stings? It does the stings. Yeah.
I could do that. Yeah.
Because what shit.
I will go back to a sporting occasion. I go back to 1982
You go back to
Park.
82.
for a sporting occasion.
This was probably the last time Offaly were in Croke Park, was it?
Offaly won the All Ireland in 1982. Yeah, we stopped Kerry winning 5 in a row. But if I had to go back, see, you two are fucking spoilt.
See, I
The
think,
two of yous, look
Do you know
at
what I
yous.
think is mad, Neil? Yeah, because every culture ever,
Yeah.
they know who was in the All Ireland and hurling and football every year.
Every year,
Like
yeah.
1983, yeah, that was Clare versus Limerick in the hurling, and Derry versus that. And you're like, how'd you know that? I couldn't tell you who was in the All Ireland final last year.
Yeah. No, I just remember the last time we won in football in Ireland. That's all it is.
That's another thing.
It's not an encyclopedic knowledge.
Yeah.
Well, where would you? Oh, any time in history. I'd like to go back to the Last Supper to see what was that like.
Would you? Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like
That's
to
what you're
see.
thinking.
I'd like to see. Yeah, the tension around the table. I mean, we've heard an awful lot about it. Do you not think you'd like to see if Jesus was there just eating the bread and there was any sort of sign of trouble in the camp?
Yeah.
Like there's 12 lads there, you know, and then there's the 13th lad at the end looking really fucking shifty.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'd like
Yeah,
to see if
I
he
hear
was,
ya.
if Judas was giving him side eye. I want to know if there's any signals that Jesus should
The
have been
boys are
looking out
all
for.
whispering, I think Judas is going to pull a run on here, boys.
Yeah.
Get him to pay for this first.
Yeah, yeah. Why is he talking to that Roman lad? He seems very friendly with them. Oh,
Yeah.
it's nothing big.
Yeah.
Where would you go back to?
Bringing out bottles of water and all. Jesus.
Do your trick.
Ah, lads,
Do your
there's
trick.
a wine there for you. Yep.
Where would you go?
He asked you, I'm trying to think. I
I
was
know,
gonna
yeah, I'm
put
still
that onto
thinking.
you, so while you're talking, I'm going to think of something then.
Well, the pyramids wrecks me head. It does. It annoys the life out of me.
Why?
Cause like, how are they there? Like,
How were they there?
yeah, like, so do you have a logical answer to
What,
this?
how they're built?
Yeah.
Slaves.
But
I
really,
heard otherwise. I heard like
You were- that sounded like you were going to name a small pub. A fella came up to me, he sold me a ferret, and then he said to me, "Do you want to know the secret of the
No,
pyramids?"
I heard that.
And what he did is he walked in with a Toblerone on a tray, and he said, "It's all a perspective. It's all a trick of the light."
Fucking, they got just like thousands of slaves to walk around the clock to build
it's
it.
not possible.
I heard it was like actually very highly qualified engineers walking around the clock to build it. Just the opposite, like.
Oh, I don't know, actually. I'd say it's a mixture of both, but I don't think it's kind of aliens or something like that. Is that what you were going to suggest?
See, I don't believe in aliens because I'm not childish. But like,
I wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? See all this alien bollocks and I'll keep it. But like, they're so big. See, I should have fucking come up with the facts. I didn't think I was going to pick that one.
What are you going to say?
But like, how many tons each yoke is?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And there's no way them slaves could have been able to lift it. Because I remember watching a video one time and it kept me up for 3 days, Neil. I swear to God, I was fuming in the gap. I said, no way them youngsters were picking them up.
Them young fellas.
Do you know, come around doing tracksuits and all these. Young bro.
Have you ever seen the height of bonfires? Young lads are fucking very strategically.
Well, point, but it's different.
You put a pole in the middle and then you put the pallets against that, and next thing you know, the thing is fucking huge.
But hey, a blue pallet is probably the same weight as one of them blocks.
It's a valid point, yeah.
Do you think that if you drilled in one of those blocks, there's a pole in the middle of it?
Yeah, 100%.
Everybody knows who stacked the bonfire years ago. You had to put a pole in the middle of it.
Yeah, it's true.
And then you have the boys up the north in July, and that thing just be like the bleeding. Just like Liberty Hall and they're burning it, and they'll tell us about the bleeding environment down here. Make sure you switch that telly off, going to bed for the environment.
Right.
Meanwhile, them boys are burning 14 stories worth of pallets.
Yeah, they're impressive, them yokes are.
Yeah.
How are they doing that though?
But I'm getting taxed on my car because of the emissions and that thing. Imagine many Volkswagens worth of fucking years worth of Volkswagen emissions a bonfire is in Belfast on the 12th of July.
No, we hear you, bro. I don't know what you're roaring at me for. Me nerves are gone. I'm looking around the room.
Have you decided between the troubles and the
Carbon
periods?
tax.
There's one way or the other, he's linking the two of them together. I'm not sure how he got there.
And he's getting fucking, they're going to be freezing all winter because they can't burn a bit of turf in Tipperary this winter. But the boys in the summer, they're burning pallets like it's no tomorrow.
No, we hear you, bro, yeah.
So has that answered your question on the pyramids?
No, it hasn't.
What upset you is that you don't know how they were built, or they don't know how they were built.
Because like I'm not a conspiracy theorist, Neil.
No,
I'm the least from it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
but
how did them young fellas pick them big, thousands of tons, hundreds of tons blocks and stack them all together so perfect?
Well, I mean I don't know, and I don't think any of us know. I'll tell you what. I'll look it up on the Encyclopedia Britannica.
Walk away.
Because none of us are archaeologists unless...
Encyclopedia Britannica?
Yeah, why not?
What's that?
It's just the encyclopedia. You know, did you ever have an Encyclopedia Britannica, like just a...
You don't know what that is, do you know?
No. All right, Hardy, you subscribe to that as well, eh? Can you not Google anything like the rest?
I have Google. Yeah, but the Google could turn up fucking...
you can Google that, boys.
So you need a source. Okay, I have...
Who's the source?
Okay. His source is my name, Derek, and he has a small pub.
Derek, he's from Cabra.
In Cabra. He says there was two gangs. One gang said he could build a bigger pyramid than the other gang. And then the other them said, fuck off. Question how the pyramids were built has not received a wholly satisfactory answer. Yes, they're right.
See what I mean?
The most plausible one is that the Egyptians employed a sloping and encircling embankment of brick, earth and sand, which is increased in height and length as the pyramid rose. Stone blocks were hauled up on the ramp by means of sledges, rollers and levers.
Right.
There you go.
So, what I don't get is,
Yeah.
how did they build them, right? And then no one documented it saying, do you know what, that's fucking deadly. Write that down so we remember how to do that. And like basically all these people just died out who witnessed it. And then like one day someone's grandson came up and like, how'd that yoke get there? And your man's like, geez, I actually don't know how that yoke got there.
So how knowledge was lost?
Basically, yeah. Like, how do you not document that? How is it not, like, somewhere how that was built? Because you don't know how any of the fucking pyramids were built. And do you not think it's weird that there's pyramids all around the world, yet these people had no means of communication with each other? So there's pyramids in South America, there's pyramids in Mexico, there's pyramids in Africa, there's pyramids in Asia.
Yeah.
And they all have, like, the similar methods of how they were built.
We think.
But these people not texting each other on Instagram, replying to a story with a flag emoji, that pyramids lead.
We boys are more obsessed with pyramids than I thought.
Yeah, no. I didn't even think we were that upset. It's only now that, like, it's all coming together. No, that's my co-host.
It's the elephant in the room here. You know what I mean? We've had people on here spilling out their hearts about, like, what they went through in life, and I've been thinking, like, that chance and Itza in Bleeding Mexico, how the fuck did they do that?
So if I just cut his head open, it'd just be a monkey cycling around and with the pyramids just above their head.
Have you ever seen a pyramid?
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about.
No, have you actually been to the pyramids?
No, I haven't been to the pyramids.
I was at the Chichen Itza in Mexico,
yeah.
right?
So that's the Aztec stepped ones.
Yeah, that one's one of the seven
what,
wonders of the
what?
world.
Aztec.
It's
And
one-
they're stepped.
Right,
It's one of the seven wonders of the world, yeah?
Right.
And at one of the solstices, you know, when there's an eclipse,
Yeah.
Terence, yeah, you know that?
Yeah.
The way they fucking...
Like Newgrange.
Yeah, like Newbridge, basically.
Yeah.
Newgrange.
Newgrange.
Oh, Newgrange,
Yeah.
Newbridge.
The
Newgrange.
Like the train station in
They,
Newbridge.
they just sell you silver.
Yeah, basically. So the way the light hits it, the shadow of the pyramid creates like a snake, and they used to worship a snake god.
That's cool.
And I was like, how the fuck could you do that when we can't even build a children's hospital in Dublin? Do you know what I mean?
I don't know
The
if
thing
it's- I
cost
don't think-
900 million and it's gone up to 2.1
I don't think
billion
it's
now.
the same people building the children's
Exactly.
hospital.
You think we'd be better? So that's what I'm saying. How did they do it?
Because
And another
those
thing is,
people-
Neil, sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt you. If you stand at the bottom of it and clap,
Yeah.
the sound travels up the steps and bounces back down, and it sounds like a certain bird that lives in the area. It's the same kind of call as that.
Wow.
bird. I was like, how did you do that? How did you do that?
Because I am not an archaeologist and I don't know the answers to a lot of these things.
Just
However,
aliens.
however,
Oh my
I would
God.
suggest that those people, in the same way the people who build Newgrange are people who are more in tune with their environment than we are. So you know.
Bollox, Neil. I'm not having that.
Now I agree.
Oh no, sorry, you were in
I agree.
tune with your environment.
Bro,
yeah. When would you
Okay,
grow
think
spuds?
about it.
No, in tune with the environment and all this carry on, boys, and doing that type of thing is different.
No, because-
aliens are fucking real.
No. So okay, so the lads in Newgrange clearly are looking at the sky and noticing when they can build that, and so they can align it. So
How long do you reckon that takes?
on the winter solstice, how long it takes? It depends on the.
They would have spent years just
Yeah.
looking at the sky.
Well, there was a FOSS course they all had to do first. So they do 2 years of FOSS course, then they'll do a VTech, and then they'll have to go. So it depends. It depends. Where they getting the grant to do it? There's a lot of the questions here. Where
got
would the
the
aliens come
contract and all,
from?
yeah.
Was it an IT or was it a university? There's loads of questions there.
Hang on, definitely more in tune with our environment back then than now. Who looks at James's Hospital and says that's in the centre of Dublin in a bottlenecked area? Build another hospital there, bro.
Do you think the Celts or the Egyptians had like an Egyptian dermabanan? And that,
just bleeding, putting glass windows.
and that originally, Newgrange originally had massive patio doors.
Newgrange actually was one big conservatory.
Yeah, it was,
That's what it was.
you press a button and a blind just comes down towards the end.
Coming in at the round in someone's gaff, basically.
Boys, my head is. I genuinely have a headache.
Yeah.
Thinking about that snake and the clap.
So,
I never heard of that.
Yeah,
Please tell me that that's the line that you're going to use for the trailer for this podcast.
What?
My head is wrecked thinking about the snake and the clap. And people will be texting you going, snakes can get the clap. The dirty bastards. No wonder they get rid of their skin. They got the clap.
Oh, no,
these are the questions we need answered.
That's the sort of stuff that I would absolutely love. So you've clearly been on a tour guide with that, and they tell you that in the guidebooks and all the rest.
And you clap and it comes back and I'm like,
That's
I
cool.
remember saying it to me, but I was like, my head is fucking wrecked. I can't believe it.
is that the moment you'd go to? Is for that?
No, you were the one who picked that. I just jumped on board.
When would you go back?
Where would I go back to?
Now we've given each other time to
No,
think.
you've had to having loads of time.
I know, yeah, but I needed to back you up as well. So I was thinking, where would I go back to? Fuck.
Like, there's loads of things you'd love to know.
Go on.
You have to go somewhere that you didn't live through, wouldn't you? Like, you can't
Yeah.
be like, I'll go back to 2002.
No, not really. Like,
I wouldn't ask that girl out.
Like, I'll go back to when Keane scored against Germany. Oh, no.
well, you
Um,
could do that,
you could.
yeah.
That's a
Oh,
waste
I think
of
my
trip.
brothers were at that. Yeah. No.
Like, if you could go back as you are now, like. So let's do that. You can go back and you know the crack.
Oh right, okay. Go
Well, you
back
were
with an
going back
iPhone.
to the pyramids and you were playing still a seed or something, you know what I mean? Like, you have to know what's going on.
Right, yeah, and we speaking the language but through magic, so we know what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
No, you just get the witness.
No, we
You're a
get to go
passenger,
back for 5 minutes. You get to come back and just see it.
Oh, 5 minutes.
Let's do 5.
So you didn't say 5 minutes.
What if the pyramids took long?
So the pyramids then? If you go back to the pyramids, you want to see the fella cutting the ribbon when opening them?
Yeah, look,
or is it the last block going on top? You don't want to see the first block of the pyramid. That's shite.
No, you're right.
Why we
Yeah.
can't-
Would you go back to see
Pyramids.
JFK being shot?
Ah, little. We only can. There's yeah. So, no, I wouldn't go back there, no, because he got shot in Texas, didn't he?
Yeah.
So I
Dallas.
have a phobia of Texas.
Euphophobia, Texas.
Yeah.
It's a
So
band.
One day,
No.
right?
No, the state.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Neil, listen to this, Neil, yeah? Listen to this.
Real story.
One
bro,
day, me and Terence started talking about conspiracies, and he actually knows a lot about JFK and
Right.
the whole thing. And I was like, "That's deadly." And I was like, "You know, he got shot in Texas." And he goes, "Oh, that makes sense why I have a phobia now." As if like you had some connection with JFK.
I spent years of my life on that case, bro. So, but I never knew it was Texas.
What are you talking about?
Oh, that's a
You were
real story.
genuinely freaked out by the state of
The
Texas.
state of Texas, bro. Yeah.
You've never been to Texas?
No, I have anxiety now. Even thinking about it. Yeah, I was saying I'm not messing.
I just think it's mad.
Is
the
my
way-
face gone red? Like, is my blood pressure gone up?
It's gone up a
Yeah,
little
yeah.
bit.
Isn't that mad? Like, so I'm not. It's not a joke. Like,
But I think it's mad the way you were like, "That's why I don't like Texas." It makes sense because JFK was shot there.
Yeah,
I was like,
but-
you didn't even know the fella.
Where does this come? She's a lot of time
But
from.
the JFK.
He seemed very nice, lovely hair. He was
Nanny
was
from
buried.
Teddy.
That's
From
true.
me bollocks,
From
boys.
Wexford.
Aliens are real. How? Why? What's the whole thing?
Yeah,
with
they
Wexford?
went from Wexford. Yeah,
That's fucking nuts, boys. Yeah,
he was buried with a bone that wasn't his as well.
Oh, wow.
what?
What the fuck is? How'd you know that?
What
I'll tell you how I know that because it was one of the facts we had.
JFK was buried with a bone that wasn't his.
He loved scrimshaw.
What's that?
Scrimshaw is when whalers carved these beautiful things on whalebone, right? Like carvings, right? And he loved that. And Jackie Onassis, Jackie Kennedy at the time, got him whalebone, the presidential seal, in 1962, carved on whalebone. And when he died, she put it in the coffin.
Right.
No, it's just another fact, isn't it?
It's
for the
just another
podcast?
fact.
Yeah, it's a pointless one, but we're here, isn't
Of
it?
course, it's a pointless one.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Do you know what's mad, boys? You can actually go and watch him get assassinated on YouTube. I remember, like, no, surely that's took off, and his head blows up like a water balloon.
So can we go back to why you're what started
Yeah, we can't.
the Texas phobia?
Me and Calvin have tried to figure this out.
I don't know if he's the professional you needed to be talking to about this.
No, that's it.
That's a bit insulting. Isn't it?
Are you a psychiatrist or a sus?
I feel like it.
Basically, in the SNA.
I feel like it.
I don't know. There's no reason. There's no reason. Like, see, when I say that to people, I'm genuinely serious when I say that. Like,
What about you? You know your man Chuck Norris,
Yeah.
don't like
Texas
that.
Ranger.
Yeah,
No.
fuck him.
No.
See all them.
Don't like
people,
that.
Blade Clint Eastwood, no.
Okay.
Blade, and who else gives me Texas vibes? John Travolta.
George Bush and George Bush
They're all
Senior.
fools,
Yeah,
mate.
but that's good. That's a healthy hatred to have.
Dallas. Did you watch Dallas as a kid?
No,
Something
no.
traumatic
As a kid.
happened
That
during
stopped
it.
in the 80s, bro.
There's no.
Yeah, so everything was repeated though.
Yeah. There's no memory. There's no memory. It's just
Any other state you don't like
not Texas.
specifically?
Just Texas.
They say you'd be left in after a 3-day bender.
Oh, don't look that state either, yeah.
Never been to America, but been in some states.
Yeah, just Texas, yeah. And I can't put my finger
We give
on
him a crash course in it. So what happened was, Terence said this in the podcast before. Then he went to a medium, and the medium said, in a past life, you were an Indian.
No, I didn't say it on the podcast that stage. I said it after that.
Yeah, I know, but I'm giving him a crash course.
He went to a medium.
Yeah, he went to a medium. He said before that you had a fear to Texas. Then he went to medium, and the medium said,
Yeah.
in the past life, you were an Indian slave, and you're getting dragged through
I was a
the
Native
desert.
American, yeah.
You're getting dragged through the desert by two cowboys. They're on horses, and they're dragging you, and they're whipping you. And he's like, all right, grand. So that was... Now he's reincarnated as a podcast host. And he was like, that's where me fear of Texas has come from. And he said that growing up, he'd walk into the gaff, his ma would have like Clint Eastwood on the telly, and he'd be like, oh, and she'd have to knock her off. She'd be panicking, trying to knock the telly off and all.
And what do you make of that?
Yeah, no, she had... So at the time, yeah. Did I say it? She at the time, right, I didn't think I'd ever said that before.
Right.
So she just randomly brought this up to me. And she was like, no,
He's
she
on
was
about
like,
the medium now.
Yeah, the medium, yeah, not me ma. So she was like, in your past life, you were a Native American, you were from Texas, like, and you were getting dragged through it. And all this carry on, I was like, boom, that's fucking mad. But like now, I grew up, and I'm like, surely she had to know something. Like, I had to have said it somewhere.
Yeah.
Because I know you don't believe in mediums, by the way you sort of rolled your eyes the minute Calvin said medium.
Yeah.
What do you make of mediums?
I think she said something that there's no way for you to prove. I
No,
mean, she could have said anything at all.
No, you're right.
You know what I mean?
It gave me a bit of comfort though.
Oh, okay.
Not anymore, you had to round it.
Oh yeah, I'm the fraud in this conversation. All right, I'm the bad guy here.
Yeah,
you were a
remember.
Native American specifically being dragged across.
I don't think she
Texas.
mentioned Texas. She said the desert, but obviously
No, she said Texas, bro.
I don't think she did. I remember at the time you told me, Terry.
100% I'll never forget the words. I was on the phone like that,
Did she not
sobbing.
say the desert?
No, in Texas, bro.
She mentioned Texas.
Specifically Texas, and I nearly dropped the phone, nearly collapsed. Up a team, I nearly scored.
And fear has gone from through the past lives.
Yeah.
Did you ask her what the past life before that was?
No, so I was very conscious that, like, don't give her that. So I literally didn't answer her for 58 minutes. I'll never forget the length of the phone call. No, I just did not say that. And I was just, no, like that. Because, like, people say that they can read your tone of voice and all when you're answering something, so they know they're onto something.
Right.
So they're like, there's a man in the room. You're like, yeah. And they're like, well, he has a dead dad and nobody yoke in his voice. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but there's a lot of that. Like,
I'm just
they
saying,
turn
like,
up to a gig in Ireland and they go, does anybody have a Patrick belonging to them? A Mary belonging to them?
Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
He says that he upset you that time. He did upset me that time.
Yeah.
With the thing that he said. You're right, he did upset me with the
And
thing
he said,
that he
don't
said.
worry about the money.
Yeah.
But the thing is though, they can be specific with things. Like, if you ask, like, I know, like, I'm actually now a non-believer again. I went from non-believer
It's cold reading. It's called cold reading.
Yeah.
But, like, there's people that, like,
Oh, Terence
tell me-
Adamant. Terence Adamant was like 100% real, bro. I'm telling you, bro, 100% real. And then, like, you went through a phase, you were like, that was a lot of bollocks.
Yeah, no, I don't. See, I said, no, because genuinely in that phone call, she did say some mad shit. And I was like, because I wasn't answering her. She was saying stuff that was, like, on the money. And I'm not a stupid young fella, you know what I mean? Like, I wasn't that, like, vague. Like, it was like, she was saying.
Why did you do the call in the first place?
I got a chance at it. So a friend of mine had been booked in with her friend, and her friend couldn't make the call.
Okay.
He had something on. She's like, do you want to do a call with a medium tomorrow at this time? And I was like, yeah, fuck it. I wasn't, like, looking for clarity and anything.
Okay.
Do you get me?
Yeah.
And it was so sudden as well.
But you know what else really annoys me? This is actually a genuine fear he has. Like,
No,
it does-
legit, like, yeah.
it's
But so
pro-
how does this manifest itself, this fear? So like,
I was a Native American. No, go on.
like, how are you scared of looking at it on a map? Are you?
See, but Garth Brooks
the
and all.
Garth Brooks concert.
See that
Spotify.
film?
He's from Oklahoma.
Is he? Yeah. Well, he was
Yeah,
overhand
it's
with
the
cowboys
cowboy
all
hats.
over the gaff.
So hold on, now it's not Texas, it's
That's
Cowboys.
what I tried to say. So
No,
I
and here.
showed him pictures of, like, Houston. Houston's a big, huge built-up city, and he hadn't a clue. And then I'm like, "That's Houston, Texas." He's like, "I'd never go there." I was like, "But if I just dropped you there, if I brought
What if you
him,
What if
and
you
dropped him
played
there?"
the Texas the band like you know that?
Yeah, great.
I
song,
can
'cause
say
you
what-
make me feel, yeah. You make me feel fine.
You can
Touch
say
my
what you want, but I don't.
Never heard either. of them. I don't know whether
You
you
do, it used to be the Super Sunday song.
Oh! Someone in here tried to give us tickets today.
Yeah,
And I snapped. Darren Cleary, he's getting a box on me. I'm only after remembering that. That was about 18 months ago.
Yeah, it
I should have
was.
dig. He's getting on
What
me.
about Tex-Mex food?
No, like, do you know...
So this is the thing, Neil. People think he's winding them up, and they'll be sending him pictures of, like, cowboy hats and all.
Yeah.
And we remember we were in
So
town.
it's not Texas, it's Cowboys.
That's what I
No,
said.
it's
This is
fucking
what I said. It's not Texas.
Did you
Right.
like Woody from Toy Story?
I never seen toys. I didn't have a telly growing up. Oh, Neil, we have a lot to catch up on, bro. Neil, I can
Can
spend
we
the
put
day.
a
Yeah.
public service announcement there to any future guests? Just listen to a handful of podcasts.
Yeah,
before you
because,
come on.
like, now this is going to get about me, and it's not my time to shine, Neil. This is all about you.
Oh yeah, but I'm
Well, you're all
fascinated
baffled,
by
aren't
this. But I'm fascinated by this.
Yeah, so it's... cowboys are included. I don't like cactuses. I don't like
Cactus, yeah.
sand.
Deserts.
I don't like deserts.
What about Mexico?
Yeah, we'll go to Mexico.
But Mexico has all of them.
Right, well, I'm not going anymore. I didn't know that.
What about a snake with gonorrhea?
Yeah,
Mexico has that as well. Would you,
No, I'm
would you
not,
go there?
yeah. No, I'm not too
So
pushed on that.
has a snake with the clap.
That's what I'm saying.
Snakes
That's what the
clapping.
reference was. It was.
What's
I didn't believe people when they said you could end up talking about anything on this, but fuck me, it's right.
Jesus Christ, aliens are real, mediums are real, snakes can clap.
Snakes can clap. They can rattle as well.
What an episode. Wrap her up there. Man. Yes. We haven't even gone into
I'm
uni.
really sure
What's your
we're on
moment?
The zingers.
Yeah.
What's your moment?
What is your moment, bro?
I can't think.
Is it the Alamo? Go back to the Alamo.
No, that.
No, like on a more serious note, boys, yeah, like on a more, I don't even know if I can say this. Kind of, like, I'd love to go and see, like, what happened to Madeline McCann and all. Do you get me? Can I say that, boys?
I don't see what
Like,
you
I'm
put at the moment
intrigued
in
by
history.
that. Yeah, I'm intrigued by that.
That's actually a very good thing to say, I think. That's a good moment in time to pick.
Look, imagine that, and then I'd come back here and I wouldn't tell no one because I'm not a rat. Am I right now? Colin, where are you, Colin? Oh, I give up my blood pressure through the roof. I need a D5. That's staying on, I don't give a bother.
I'm sitting out tears in my eyes. Are you alright, Neil?
I'm just thinking that's the one he's going to pick.
But I think that's a good...
That's the moment.
That's a good one.
You
Is that
haven't
what-
answered.
I know, I can't think of. There's so many moments in history.
I'm sweating.
Would it be Irish history? Would it be 1916? Would it be what happened in the GPO? Would it be...
Lethal. Deadly, yeah.
Would it be
That's
that?
good, Calvin, no?
Would it be...
You could see how the earth was made, like.
Would it be
What
Wolf
happened to
Tone? Would it be
Yeah, guy.
Roger Casement trying to get weapons onto Bannistrand or whatever it was?
We go more recent than that.
Would it be the Battle of Kinsale and you go, lads, just lay siege to Kinsale?
I don't know, mate. Genuinely.
You're not going to give us one moment. Yeah, it's all right if you don't, like, what literally happened on for so
Would it
long.
be Solskjaer scoring a goal in 1999?
I actually remember that. I don't need to go back.
Okay, right.
But would I actually like to go and win?
Calvin's older than you now.
I remember watching that. That's my earliest memory in football. Sitting in Lord's Flats with my dad watching the treble and fucking me up in the air. And then doing it
dropped
again
you.
about a
That's what
minute later. Like that time you won the treble. Remember you was... Oh no, you never done it. But you were on the radio yesterday for Ireland's greatest moment.
Yeah. There was a bit of a mix-up there.
Yeah.
So I initially thought I was going on to talk about
Your biggest...
my,
Yeah.
what I thought, and obviously...
Oh, your own biggest moment?
Yeah. So
Oh,
you could
okay,
pick-
yeah.
So, like, some people are talking about repeal the 8th, some people are talking about the marriage referendum,
Yeah.
equality and stuff like that, which is interesting. But I picked the sporting moment. I think Katie Taylor in 2012
Yeah.
in the Olympics, winning gold, the first time women's boxing was in the Olympics. And then what happens after that, like, and there's a whole lot to it. So I went in with a lot to talk about, and they hit me.
They had a list of their own moments to talk about, didn't they?
It's all about
Yeah,
Texas.
and I ended up talking about rural electrification in Ireland.
And what did you say?
I just kept bringing it back to Katie Taylor. Like, we're not talking about
The
that.
biggest moment is now.
Oh, you'd have to. I think one it was Ireland becoming a republic. I think in 1949 or something.
Which is a valid point.
Yeah, I
no?
would have.
Look, I didn't argue that.
seen this list,
I
have
would have
you?
said independent. I would have said independence.
Yeah.
Rather than
You've seen
republic.
this list, have you?
No, I just saw something that said it was that was the top. Wasn't
Well,
it?
can I tell
I
you-
think 1990 World Cup was one of the big ones, wasn't it? And I would have said independence. Sure.
So Katie Taylor was 16th on the list of the top 20.
Yeah.
And then 15th was Garth Brooks selling out 5 nights in Croker.
no.
Greatest moment in Ireland. Yeah.
So you just don't understand cultures.
No.
I don't think anyone understands cultures.
Don't cultures understand cultures?
Neil, do you realise you're a culture?
Of course.
Are you aware of this? Yeah.
Of course I am.
But there's a lot of cultures out there that are not aware that they're cultures.
Why? What do they think?
I'm not a culture, I'm from the town. I was like, this is the way you sound. That's a culture thing to say.
Yeah, everybody from outside of Dublin,
Everyone from
including
50 is a culture.
including I would say people from other cities in Ireland.
There's no other city in Ireland than Dublin.
there is.
Dublin's even
Dublin is
arguably
a glorified town.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
We
but my
barely qualify as
no.
a
My
city.
point is that other people from other cities who I would consider them cultures.
Right.
Yeah.
Give me an example. What's another city in Ireland?
Galway.
Galway's a city.
Yeah.
always lethal.
So is
Yeah,
Limerick.
Good spot.
So is Limerick.
It's
So
a
is Cork.
square with a train station, and that's it. You could walk anywhere in Galway.
So is yeah.
It's tiny. It's not a city.
What classifies a city?
Don't know.
whether you have decided.
If I was to like, give you an example of a city, I wouldn't pick fucking Galway anyway.
Well, you asked me for cities in Ireland,
yeah,
and I said
there's one. There's Dublin, and then there's Belfast, but we can't, for political reasons, like Arlene Foster, we can't classify Belfast here. Derry maybe. Dublin is the only city in Ireland, and I'll go
Cork.
on that hill.
Cork.
Mind that.
So you're gonna have so you're gonna have Derry, but you're not gonna have Cork. Cork's bigger than
is it?
Cork's bigger than Derry.
Yeah, by area, but not by city.
No, by population.
Yeah, that's because they're laden down there like rabbits.
I've no telly on it.
Not a telly to be seen down
That
there.
does. Oh, you can't say that in front of him. He didn't have a telly growing up. You've not been listening to the podcast.
Yeah, that's why
PTSD.
Ma has 7 kids.
Yeah, she does have a load of kids, yeah.
Has she
It's
got
mad.
7? 6.
6 of us, yeah.
Did you have to count on your fingers to
Do you
figure
know
out
why? Because
how
it was-
many siblings?
because it's-
No,
you
he
have-
had his fingers. He's not from Cork. He only has 5 fingers.
Yeah, me and my 2 brothers who are about the same age. and then she had 3 more kids.
Right, okay.
Like a few years ago.
His ma has 2 sets of twins.
So like, yeah, 2 sets of twin brothers I have, yeah.
Wow,
Mad that, isn't it?
that's aliens.
Yeah, she want to grow up, wouldn't she? Yeah, aliens are
That's
real.
aliens.
What? Right, boys.
Anyways, how we get talking about cities?
Garth Brooks.
Yeah,
It was 15th on the list, you said.
Yeah, look, and I said that on air. I said, that's shocking.
And that's...
Well, that's recency bias.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
Did he
That's
say
'cause
when it was the first time? Did he say when he did it in this year or 2014? Did
The
he say
5
when?
nights.
He done
said
5 nights in 2014 as well. He sold them
he's
out.
worth that
Yeah.
fortune,
Yeah.
that cunt, didn't he?
But like, I remember saying to somebody, the cultures like him so much that like Ticketmaster were accepting silage as part payment for those tickets.
Squirrel stamp.
But like, if people like it,
Yeah, it's whatever you're into, but it is childish.
See, I thought this
what's
was...
childish?
Liking, do you like Garth Brooks?
I'm not particularly.
Yeah,
but
see,
what's
because-
childish about that though?
Do you know what I thought
I
was
don't know.
childish about it, Neil?
I just used the word. I was just like, I just don't like it.
You
I'll
didn't
pick a
expect to
word.
be interrogated at the
No.
choice of words.
But you know, they were like, oh, look, he's at the sell now 5 nights. There was people who were going like 2 nights in a row and all, and you're like, that kind of...
People are doing that for us, Calvin. We have a live show on Sunday, and there's people going again on Wednesday.
On 15th on the list for selling out live shows and all. Garth Brooks was like, look how
So
many...
what was the top 5 then?
Top 5 was,
I think the marriage referendum was one of them, wasn't it?
yeah, that was third, I think.
And I think repeal the 8 was one,
No, it wasn't.
wasn't it?
No, it didn't make top 5.
What did you say about rural electrification?
I panicked, yeah.
Yeah.
So I was just
What did you?
I was letting them
I like
talk.
plugs. What did you say?
Yeah, something like that. I was like, turn your switches off and all, you know what I mean? I didn't know what to say, and I was like, Katie, you know
I
what
had
I
an
mean?
electric bar fire.
Panicked, bro, yeah. I just got roped into it, but here we are. Neil,
Yes.
I don't know how long we're at the main talking for.
It feels like it flew by. It's a bit. I have to say, it's been very enjoyable, gentlemen.
Thank you very much, I appreciate that.
we haven't even started, is the issue.
Yeah,
okay.
that's a real thing. Like, we actually don't know anything about you.
Well, I'll do it again.
Maybe so. What are you doing on Sunday? You actually have a live show on Sunday.
I know, on Vicar
What,
Street.
30.
No, I was just going to say we jump in and find out a bit about Neil, but...
I have a question for you.
Right.
You kind of touched on it before we got started, so I couldn't actually talk about it, but you robbed me tickets for Sunday or something like that, I heard.
I did.
What happened?
I took your tickets by accident.
How?
You took your tickets for your own show.
Basically,
but-
Ah, okay.
Yeah, Darden Cleary. So Darden Cleary... What's Darden Cleary's job title?
Don't know.
Medium.
Well, he walks for Go Loud anyway.
He walks to go loud.
Official
So
title.
Darden is over us.
Yeah.
And Darden's a milcher. So Darden tries to charge us for our
Head
own
milcher
clothes.
and
and
Go
all.
Loud.
Yeah, the head milcher in here, yeah. So if like we're like, Darden, them talking bollocks trumpers are nice. Give us them, we'll sit on the show and we'll talk about them and we'll get people to buy them. And he's like, yeah, cough up with the money.
He's like, get Revolut me for your own merchandise.
For your own merch.
Ah, Jesus.
Yeah, and then he does the same with our own tickets and all. He's like,
So
Revolut
what-
me.
You're kind of
So-
deflecting the blame on the
Yeah,
Darden here.
I'm the over on. I'm like,
You stole his ticket.
Basically, is what I'm at the hearing. We get like allocated, I mean, a minute amount of tickets for
Yeah.
friends and family. Like, I mean, there's some shows where I'm like, you can go to this one, you can go to the next one because I've got enough tickets for us.
See, all I'm hearing there now is that's a humble brag. That's what that is. That's all I'm hearing there is, listen, we've got so little, we sell so
We
many
just don't
tickets.
like our own families.
My diamond shoes are too tight. Oh my God. Ma'am, I can't bring you to Vicar Street that holds 1,100 people because I'm too successful. I'm sorry about that. I am too successful.
it's a valid point, but it's along them lines. But anyways, I was over here collecting my tickets, and then I seen another 4 tickets on the table, and I took them.
And you took everybody's tickets.
Kinda.
So,
But to our show, so in my head, I seen talking bollocks tickets there, and I like gold dust, and I was at the get mine, and I said, you know what, fuck this, and I whipped them up off the
You
table.
must have known they were his though.
I didn't know they were cabs. I'm at to find out now.
Who did you think?
did you promise him to someone else?
No.
So you just had 4.
I had 4 extra. I was actually going to sell them for double the price.
Imagine scalping outside your own gig.
Yeah,
That would be absolutely quality.
Yeah.
And I was wondering why all week on Instagram, like there's members of his family putting up and the tickets to our show, and they have loads of them and something not watching out too. Yeah, like,
They're about selling headbands as well.
Yeah.
there's a load of tickets there. That's mad. Terence sat at the sorting all them out, and I was like, now I know why the fuck are my tickets? And I have a list of people then, and I swear to God, like I literally have to go through it.
Can you bring them to the next gig?
That's what I'm going to do. So we're playing on Wednesday as well. We have another live show on Wednesday. So people who I haven't got tickets for on Sunday. I have to give them tickets for Wednesday.
Ah, you're all right. Are you going to change your shows between?
Yeah.
Two entirely
completely
different lineups?
shows. Two completely different shows.
Will it all Texas or pyramid based, or it'll be brand new stuff?
No, we're getting that all out of the system now.
Okay, right.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. So
good.
this is why we're doing this now.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And then Sunday we're just.
Well, I don't know what we're going to do, to be honest.
I
with you.
actually, do you want to know the gospel truth, Neil?
Yeah.
We haven't even spoke about this live show yet.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You have the
You know
guest
what,
booked?
Yeah.
Okay.
We've the guest, so that's a good start.
Yeah.
It's usually the opposite. Like, we'd really plan the show and be like, talk about this, and like throw that part in there and that part, and you're like, grand, you're like, and who's your guest? And be like, oh, well, we want to get this person, that person, and like, the show will be on a Sunday, and be like, text them there, it'll be Wednesday. I'm like, what do you mean you can't do it? Someone has plans? This is fucking stupid. And you'll be like, it's our own fault.
Yeah.
Whereas we done the opposite this time. The second we knew the shows were coming, we got onto the guests, got them locked in, and now we're about 4 days away and we haven't got an plan. We got the suits yet.
All you need is a zinger. We've done a full episode on a zinger.
Yeah, so that's what we know we can do. But
Yeah.
we just want it to be entertaining as
Yeah.
well. Do you get me?
Yeah.
Because we can.
I'm going to walk out of here and you're not going to know anything more about me than when I walked in.
I know you're
I quite like
I
that.
know you're a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
I believe in medium. I'm scared of Alabama.
So, Neil,
Yeah.
we haven't even
Scratch the surface.
nothing. We're definitely going to have to do a part two with you. But what is the best and worst comedy gigs you've ever done? Because you're a comedian.
Ooh, worst one. I did a gig once. There's this famous gig in Edinburgh called Late and Live, and you go on at 1 o'clock in the morning, and it's carnage, as you might imagine. Right? 1 o'clock in the morning, people are hockeyed, and it's kind of a rite of passage. And I remember I did it once years ago, and I got away with it the first time, and then I was a bit cocky the next time. Went on and started messing with the audience, and a guy about 5 minutes in just went, "Get your balls out!" like that, right? And I thought, oh fuck, man, and I said, "I'll get mine out if you get yours out." Mistakenly thinking that he wouldn't get his balls out. He had them in his hand by the time he got to the end of the sentence. I hadn't even gotten to get your balls out, and the fucker was up with a sack in his hand, standing on stage. And
Scott Brown.
then I didn't. And then if there's one thing that Edinburgh will not forgive, it's a broken promise. And then it was just hours of them, or it felt like hours of them, like half the crowd hating me because I didn't.
Because you didn't get the balls
didn't.
out.
And if I get my balls out, it would have been fine.
Yeah.
It would have been fine. Looking back now, I'd probably get one out, and then you save the second one as a finale or something.
Yeah.
But that was. But I stayed on. I stayed on, but like half the crowd hating me, and then the other crowd going, "Geez, this fucker's staying on. This is kind of."
1 o'clock in the morning, you.
Oh no, I was on. It starts at 1. Yeah, I was probably on at 2 or 2:15. Yeah.
What is the point in that? What?
It was this. It's the vibe that it's meant to be rough, and it used to be a bear pit, and then
What made you agree to that? The money.
you really have no money at the start of doing stand-up comedy. Maybe it was this thing that it was a rite of passage. People used to do it. Why did I do the thing in the gig in the
Why are you
prison?
doing this now?
Because I've heard this and I've enjoyed this.
Cute.
And I've
I was expecting it to slag was there.
No,
Nice.
I really liked it. I really liked the Ardle episode, and I really liked the Will episode, and it sounds a good crack. That's why.
Yeah.
That's why. And there's no. Sometimes you go on these shows. I don't know how many of these other shows you've been on, but like sometimes you'd be chatting to a guest, or you're chatting to a chat show host, and you just know he's going to ask you the next question on his list, no matter. He's going to ask you question 2 no matter what you say for question 1.
Exactly.
So he'll go, "Listen, you're up to something interesting this week," and you go, "Yeah, I killed a man to watch him die." And he'll go, "Really?" And the tour starts on Monday. Do you know what I mean? Whereas I'm pretty sure if I said I killed a man to watch him die, you go, "So did I," and then we talk about it. That's what would happen. You'd be like, "Was he from Texas?" Because he deserved it if he was from Texas. Do you know what I mean? The two of you will go with the flow. Whereas sometimes you're just going to get asked the next thing on the list. So,
Well, we found the clip of this week's episode.
That's correct. So the door.
but that's the main reason I'm doing it.
Was that your worst experience with a heckler?
With a heckler, probably, yeah. I mean, sometimes you used to get people. See, it was different when you started, because when you started, you had no kind of choice about where you went on. You took every gig, and I remember I did a gig once, and you took every gig, so you couldn't say no, and you were just learning the ropes, and you'd be standing there in the Champions League, be on the final, you'd be on a milk crate, and nobody would listen to you and stuff like this. There was years ago, a certain brewery ran a competition where like pubs could win a night of comedy, and I ended up in South Armagh, in the middle of nowhere, right? Because they had won the competition to hold the comedy night. And I went, okay, got there, and they were all lovely. It was a tiny little pub, and I said, "Is there anywhere for me to hang out?" And the guy goes, "Yeah, you can hang out in the kitchen." And I went in the kitchen, and there was a coffin on the kitchen table, and he just goes, "There's tea and coffee there. Don't look at that." And then that was it. And I shat myself, and I sat there for the whole night just not looking at it. So there was just weird.
Is that a real story?
Oh, real? Yeah, real story. Yeah. There was just
Did
weird.
you ask questions?
In South Armagh, no, fucking nobody asks questions around that particular town at that particular time.
Oh no, that
So there
would've
was
got
all
the
these
veteran.
weird little stories that we used to have. Yeah.
That's mad. Like
I once
can't-
went for an audition for a show called Pure Mule. I think they've repeated it a while ago. And this is how bad an actor I am, right? I went for the audition, the role of this is about 15 years ago. It was for a fellow who was about 26, 27, right? From an Offaly town basically called Edenderry. My brother knows the playwright. I went to play me, and I didn't get the job. I didn't get the job of me. Right? Your man goes, "Don't really see you as you. I can't really imagine that." And I knew another guy. I knew a guy called, he was a comedian who was Kylie Minogue's minder. He was this huge guy. He was
Minder.
about 6'9", and he was a comedian, but he was also a bouncer for years.
Yeah.
You know, these guys are so big,
You don't mind that, Terry.
you don't get used to how big they are. You know those lads?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You go, fuck, he's massive, and you look away and you go, fuck, he's still massive. Those huge lads, right? He once went for the role of the bouncer in Chopper Harris's nightclub years and years and years ago in the film. You know the film with Eric Bana? It's an Aussie film. And the guy goes, "No, we don't see you as it." And he goes, I was the bouncer. I was the bouncer. And he goes, "No, we don't really see you as playing that role." Like, what? You've got a fuck all chance if you are the person.
Yeah.
You are
Good
that
concept,
person.
Yeah.
And you can't act as that person.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
You weren't believable as yourself. It's kind of a little bit odd, yeah.
If
Well,
they
like-
do a film about you, Neil, who'd play you?
Oh, I think a real curveball like Eddie Murphy. I think that would be interesting. This is a bit weird. Is anybody going to mention this whole thing? I don't know. Maybe Matt Damon needs to work, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I saw Matt Damon. I saw a clip of him on TikTok saying that he turned down 10% of the royalties of Avatar. James Cameron offered 10% of Avatar.
To be in it?
Yeah, and Avatar was the biggest film in the world. No actors ever turned down more money than him, he said.
How much money?
Yeah.
No.
No, 10% of the royalties was the highest grossing film ever.
And what?
Up until about 2 years ago.
We don't have the
I think
numbers.
it made $1 billion, didn't it?
More. I think it made
yeah,
more.
Yeah.
So what? He got 100 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Royalties.
mental money.
And yeah. So he probably have a gear bag rather than the cans in
a
the
super
plastic
value
bag.
bag,
Going swimming in Dalkey then at that stage. He probably have the best of gear.
He could have bought the gaff and dock instead of renting it for the summer.
Yeah.
That's mental money, but.
That's,
Who play you?
who'd play me?
Oh, I should be picking who'll play you.
Go on then.
No, like.
I think
Who do you think would?
for you, I
I'm
think I'd
panicking.
pick probably Lou Diamond Phillips.
Who's that?
Because he's the only Native American Indian actor that came to my head.
Let's go, Neil, yeah.
Yeah. Who
I
play
don't know.
him?
Who would play you? That's a good question.
What age are you?
How old do you think I am?
Well, he said you're old.
Yeah.
He is
So
old.
how old do you think I am?
So you're older than you look then.
Well, how old do I look, Neil? Come on, will you?
I'm going to guess you're 30. 30.
No.
So he looks 30. Oh, you're guessing he's 30.
No, I'm trying to remember. They won 1999. He was probably 4 in 1990. So when he born 1995. That'd make him 27, 28.
That's quick maths now.
Not bad.
That's
not
impressive.
bad. It's not bad.
And your memory. You remember
Was
the
it-
99 thing.
I'm 28.
So I said 27, 28. Yeah, just 'cause-
29 next week.
Who's
yeah.
older than me or him?
Oh, I mean, he's 28 and you've lived many lives.
Yeah,
so,
so
I mean,
You're timeless, Terry.
You're like
Timeless.
Stonehenge is what you're like. That's what you're like. You're like an old sequoia
He
tree.
knows the boys who built the pyramids.
Yeah, you should just ask the lads. DIY SOS. I'm going to say you're.
So we're going back to this now.
Yeah.
All right. You get this right, I'll revel out your 30 quid. I swear me ma's life.
What do you mean get this right? Oh, it was age. Sorry, I didn't know what the question was.
Yeah.
I thought we were still on the actor question. I was like, how can you pick
The right answer.
The right answer. Someone has played you already in a minor film. If you can guess who it was. Who play you, by the way, would be one of the Gleasons.
Yeah, Donald.
Donald Gleason.
I don't know him, boys, yeah, but is he good, yeah?
Is that the one who was in Star Wars?
Yeah.
Yeah, him.
Yeah.
Star Wars,
yeah.
no?
Yeah,
Ginger fella,
yeah.
Bit of crack there.
Yeah. You're 30.
Thank you. Thank you. 34.
34?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's not, he's 22. Tell him the truth.
What age are you?
21.
What age are you?
No, I'm actually devastated you said 30, honest to God. I'm sick of people saying that I'm older than Calvin.
What age are you?
26.
It's all the worry you have about Texas.
People
He's
say
not
that-
worried about it. He's only worried about a beagle.
Yeah.
And the beagle, like with the best will in the world, is going to be dead by the age of 14. Texas is around forever.
So, Neil,
Yes.
what is the name of your podcast?
It's called Why Would You Tell Me That?
It's a great name for the podcast.
Basically.
Like, what else would you call that podcast?
Yeah, it's basically...
You
yeah.
wanted to call it Talking Bollocks, but we got there before you.
No, because we want at some point somebody to go, I'll tell Dave something and I have to justify why would I tell him that. So he's well within his rights to do what you just did with the Scrimshaw-based knowledge that I dropped on you earlier on, where you just went, the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
So sometimes we go, oh, that's great, and then sometimes you go, no, I'm not into that. But most of the time we uncover kind of mental shit, you know?
And
Yeah.
Why would you tell me that?
do you find it hard to get people in like an expert?
Well, sometimes you see, I suppose, like we were chasing a person for a while, and they study a tribe and have done a lot of research in the tribe in China, and I think they probably thought, because the podcast wasn't out at the time, they were probably thinking, who are these lads? If they look up my name, they're going to get comic. If they look up his name, they're going to get a not a serious radio show, but a kind of a light-hearted, even though they do serious subjects. But, you know, and then they might be going, well, why am I going to talk to these lads? I've no interest in talking to these lads. Or they might kind of take the piss. But once people know we're
Good
sorted.
intentions.
Yeah, we've got good intentions. And now it's easier and easier and easier because we go, oh, we had that person, we had that person, we had that person.
Yeah.
So I did Countdown the other day, and so you know Susie Dent, who sits in
Yeah.
Countdown and Dictionary Corner, she's going to do it. And because I got the idea, because Dave one day went, Jesus, that's Balubas. And I said, you know where that comes from? And he goes, no, and I explained where it came from. And then, so she's going to go on and she's going to explain the history of words, various words.
What does Baloopas mean?
Balubas when, do you know the Siege of Jadiville? You ever see that film?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually, the head fella in that, the sergeant,
Yeah.
Quinlan,
Yeah.
his nephew, I'm going to say, was my teacher on school. He used to always tell us about
Well,
him.
The Balubas were a tribe in the Congo at the time, and there was such negative paper coverage here that that's Balubas became this derogatory term. And we said, you might not say it, but people older than you would say it because your parents said it. We don't know what it means, but that's where it comes from.
I'd never heard that word in my life.
I've never
Did you
heard
not?
that word.
That's the
never.
first time I've ever heard
Yeah,
it.
ask your mum and dad. That's it.
Baloopas?
Yeah, that's Balubas, yeah.
No, it's news to me anyway.
Yeah, I've never once in my life, 28 years on this planet,
Too young.
never heard it.
Too young.
Too young, boy. I never even heard my man that say.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, there's...
Culture thing.
It's not a culture.
Is it a culture thing?
It's not a
Did you
culture
say it in
thing.
Dublin?
I think it is.
Yes, you do say it in Dublin.
We
My
say
mother
it's
used
all
to say it.
bollocks.
My mother's from Dublin, so.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I hear you. Right. I think we're at the end of the road, are we, boys?
Oh, no, the trouble is we have too much to talk about. So we have literally just come off the junction of the road.
Yeah.
We're going to get back on the road at some
We
other
will
point.
be back on the road soon. We will get a part 2 and possibly part 3 as well with you.
Gentlemen, it's been a pleasure.
But have you anything else to plug before we wrap her up?
Oh, I'm doing a tour.
That's what I was about to say. Doing any tours?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing a tour it's called Delamerium. I always call my shows something to do with my name. So I once had, you like this, I once had the Fresh Prince of Delamere. I thought just like that. And yeah, Creme Delamere was another one. That was a
not bad one.
vaguely sexual.
Not
Well, there was that Creme Delamere was a kind of a face cream or something, wasn't it? And so this one's called Delamerium. It was meant to be called Delamerium Tremens. but people didn't really get what delirium tremens were. You know when you shake after you've drunk too much. So I'm doing the ice hockey arena in Belfast. I'm doing Vicar Street. I'm doing various different cities around the country. Look at it.
Just in Dublin for that.
Just in Dublin, yeah, just 50 dates in Dublin, yeah. So all around. They can.
You done a Spiegel tent in Wexford, didn't you?
I did it the other day, yeah. That's
Yeah.
fucking deadly. That
I know
place,
somebody
that
who
was
was out of the town. They tell you were brilliant.
Oh, thanks a million. I just love the crack. I just love chatting to the front row. I remember the Vicar Street once. There was a blonde guy, and he was a South African lad. And I said, "Where are you from?" And he goes, "Cape Town." And I said, "How did you end up in Dublin? Cape Town is beautiful and warm and sunny and everything." And he goes, "I got in the wrong container." And when they say, like, I talk to the audience at the start all the time because it makes every show different, and you always get a great crack out of them. So that's why I enjoy this, because this could go anywhere. And two ye will jump on whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, I swear to God. Well, like, our attention span is so small. I'm like, what's that over there? And then we're gone.
Oh yeah. Oh, there's no doubt there's something clinically wrong with both of you.
Ah, yeah,
Oh no,
yeah.
there's absolutely no doubt about that. But that's what makes it so
We had an
enjoyable.
ADHD expert on there a couple of weeks ago.
Really?
And we might have like an autism.
I'm diagnosed with ADHD, and he basically said that Calvin's autistic.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
That's mad, isn't
Like
it?
live on the show. Like, in the
How did
special time.
you respond to that?
We know.
You took 4 different medical cards out of your pocket and went, "We're well aware of this."
Yeah.
Like, we've done like 90 some episodes of the podcast. I think we kind of got that by now. We grasped that idea.
Yeah. So we're at the end. Let's wrap her up, boys.
Right.
Neil, thanks for coming on, bro. It's
It's been a pleasure. Thanks.
No,
man.
thanks very much, Neil. Episode 97, done and
Wrapped up.
dusted. Take us out there, Chris.
Boom.
Subscribe to this podcast for free on the Go Loud app.
What you waiting for? Put your back in it. Just a little more. Throw your weight in it now. Tell your body you're ten. Walk it hard and long. When you finish that,
The hip knocker.
go down, go down, go down.